This podcast is sponsored by Happy Warrior Kava. Be a happy warrior. Drink, relax, and enjoy the strong and smooth taste of the best-selling kava in the islands. Happy Warrior Kava.
Aloha and welcome to another edition of HNN Overtime, the Hawaii News Now Sports Podcast. We are joined in the Digital Center. I am, of course, Kyle Chinen, joined as always by Davis Pitner.
Yep.
And Cienna
she's
back from vacation.
Yes,
she's back.
I'm back. I missed you guys.
We missed you.
I know.
Yeah, I watched the last episode. You guys held it down, though.
Ooh, yeah.
I do have my opinions, but we'll save that for another time.
Okay.
We'll save that for
we
later on
made
the
sure
show,
we
yeah.
had. We'll talk about the T Swift
a little
thing.
bit.
You know, we had to throw it in there.
Yeah.
I just knew that if you were here for that episode, showing the B-roll of that
I'm
kiss,
so happy I got that B-roll. That was
would've
so
been
good.
Nuclear.
Yeah.
Yes, I saw that, and my day was ruined. But
Yep.
it's a brand new day. We're
Pretty
recording
good.
early in the morning.
Another
early morning.
You gotta do it.
Let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
Davis came in on his day off, so
Yeah.
shout
you
out
know,
to that guy.
anything for the podcast.
He's about
you know,
to
I
go
guys
Black
love
Friday
it.
shopping, too,
About to go
like-
Black Friday shopping.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Yes.
everybody.
Hey, happy
You guys.
Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you watching. Very quickly, how was everyone's Thanksgiving?
It was nice. Just spent it
Yeah.
with family. So
Yeah.
all
All right.
that, food, family,
Yeah.
football.
Yep. You gotta have it. You gotta
I got to watch some football. Shout out my family. So my brother actually just turned 21, so they are actually all my
Wow.
family.
Is it on? Oh, it was just.
So like
That's perfect timing.
It just kind of
Yeah.
almost every other year, depending on the day.
Yeah, yeah.
He'll fall on Thanksgiving, but it just so happened this year's a Thanksgiving day.
Nice.
But he turned 21, so my family is in Vegas.
Fun.
But it's a busy time of the sports year, so hope they're having fun. Hope they win me some money.
Oh.
But I was able to spend some time with some of our HNN coworkers. I
Okay.
went to our digital producer Kaylin Hughes' house, met her family, and hang out with some of my other coworkers. Drew Davis was there. Our
nice.
Sunrise and Weekend producer Kate was there as well. So it was super fun. I got
That's
to
awesome.
eat way too much food, but it was super
The
fun.
holidays.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Yeah. I mean, for myself, 2 dinners.
Oh,
Yeah.
Two
Right
dinners.
after
Did you
that,
do a lunch and
I
a
had-
dinner, or just 2 dinners?
It was really weird because usually we go to my grandma's house, my side of the family,
Yeah.
and we have like a Thanksgiving lunch. And so
Yeah.
I have a nice little break in
Right.
between the
Good
second,
little
because then we
nap.
go over to Mel's family's house and we
Yeah.
have another one.
Right.
But we decided to, it wasn't my decision, but push our dinner for my grandma's for later.
it
So we
went-
had a 3:00 dinner at grandma's house.
Oh,
And then
like
we
a
went
5
over to
o'clock.
Mel's house at 5:00.
Oh,
Yeah.
5 o'clock
So-
turn.
Too close
That
for me.
was a rough one. Let
Like
me
your-
just say that.
Your tummy was still settling.
Yeah.
in
Tummy
the
was
I
still
don't know about
settling.
that.
Yeah. It was no time for a nap. You know, I had that.
You can't Kanak attack?
You were the driver?
I was the driver. You know,
Princess.
Let me guess. Mel was.
yeah,
On the
very
way
close,
over.
very close.
The Thanksgiving food will get you, but
It will get you.
I mean I guess that's one of the new. I mean you guys have been dating for a while, but new perks of being married is 2 dinners, 2
Two
Thanksgiving
dinners, yeah,
meals.
Christmas.
2 Thanksgivings. That's how every year now. Every year.
Double the.
I have to like
Exciting.
just starve myself like the day before or something,
Yeah,
and
you don't
get,
eat.
yeah,
Yeah.
a nice little salad.
Nice little salad,
on the
yeah.
Wednesday.
Sounds like a typical Cienna day to me.
Yeah, but super fun. We have a fun Thanksgiving bit at the end
Yes.
that we have
favorite.
planned, so stick with the show. But football-wise,
Yeah.
guys, nothing like another loss to start off the show.
They had an They did not really have a good Thanksgiving. Well, this was prior.
This
to
is
Thanksgiving.
prior, yeah. This
But
is prior.
yes, they fell hard to Wyoming on the
Yep.
road in Laramie, 42-9. Kind of a repeat of what we've been seeing the last couple. Like we were so excited and optimistic after those 2 strings of wins that we saw. Obviously upsetting Air Force. You're like, the sky's the limit for this team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then we realized that they haven't left the ground yet.
Yeah, Air Force, we saw the defense coming out. We
Yep.
saw everyone
Yep.
playing
All
their
phases.
best. All phases of the game. Complete opposite this past week. It kind of seemed like the Bows before
Yeah.
Yes.
all of that earlier on. I mean, I think we were a little too optimistic on that last.
We were a bit
last
optimistic.
episode.
Yeah, I can't blame
think
you guys
everyone.
though. I mean, when you beat Air Force and then even Nevada the week before, like I
Yeah.
know they're not a great team, but just seeing the way they performed,
Right.
you're like, wow, this team has great potential. And Wyoming's okay, but
Right.
obviously at home they're a different team. But I watched about the first half and it
Yeah.
was tough to watch.
Really was.
Yeah.
Going into the stats a little bit.
Here we go.
Because, we got to throw in the stats there. UH total 345 total yards of offense. That's 278 passing, 67 rushing. Wyoming, meanwhile, had a crazy game, 472 total yards of offense, 319 passing yards, 153 rushing yards. Their quarterback, Andrew Peasley, he had an incredible game. 14 for 17, 319 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Meanwhile, Braden Shager, 25 for 44, 278 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Stephen McBride, he had a crazy game as well, 5 receptions, 103 yards. What gets me looking at all these stats is the fact that Braden had 44 attempts.
Yeah, I think we've
25
talked
for
about this on the
44.
show before.
Yeah. I mean, we've always known this entire year that they were a pass-first team. I mean, obviously, the rushing-wise, 67 yards. That's kind of the typical thing that we've been seeing every single game. But, I mean, not quite the game that Braden usually has. And, I think we were kind of hoping for a little bit more from the offense, but it just wasn't their game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when you look at the 67 rushing yards, you look at the Air Force game where Shager didn't have to put up gaudy numbers and was still very efficient with the ball. You see the 67 rushing, and then you see the 44 attempts. That just means that they're kind of forcing him to be like, hey, we can't run the ball, so let's try and pass this thing. And then you see the result, 2 interceptions. So it's another case of the needs to be a little bit more well-rounded.
It is, and it's just so disappointing if nothing really went UH's way all
Yeah,
day, and
yeah.
it was just tough to watch, like I said earlier. Okay, so the fact that UH has 4 wins right now is good
Yeah.
because we surpassed what we had last season.
Right.
So earlier in the season,
Little
if
bit of
you talked
improvement.
to me about like 6 weeks ago, I was like, wow, this team might not
Yeah.
get more than 3 wins. So we have 4. That's good.
Yep.
We have Colorado State at home, senior night. So this one will be hard to judge by because I think Hawaii will play better because
Yeah.
that was such a terrible loss against
Yeah.
Wyoming. Like, that was just hard to watch. And then also being senior night, and it's the last home game. So things could go differently. But, I mean, watching that Wyoming game was just like,
Yeah.
wow, what kind of team
Yeah.
is this?
Yeah.
And I think if history has shown after like strings of 2 so like when those losses to like New Mexico and,
Right.
and San Jose State,
Yeah.
like then we see the Nevada Air
Yes,
Force, right? So
yes.
hopefully, like I hate that it has to take this for this team to kind
know.
of wake up, but
Yeah.
hopefully the other teams show up that we've seen the last 2 weeks and not the one from Laramie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, this team just for some reason doesn't travel very well.
They don't.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
I mean, they only recently against Nevada
Yeah.
broke their streak of road losses. I think
Yeah.
it was like 9 straight for a while, and then
Yeah.
they finally hit it with Nevada.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, we should have known, especially because Wyoming's such a good team at
Mm-hmm.
home.
Yeah.
They are still undefeated at home, and I don't know. Maybe it's something about those colors. We'll get to those guys in a minute. But
Oh, there you
That
go.
would have been a good transition.
transition. But we have one more
Yeah.
game before
Yeah.
that, guys.
Yeah.
Sorry, but yeah, like Cienna said, at home, Colorado State senior night. The Rams are kind of here and there.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
had moments, but they're also kind of in a similar situation with a new head coach, new system in their second year, still trying to figure things out. I mean, they rubbed elbows with Dion in Colorado.
Well, it's looking like everyone can rub elbows
Yeah,
with Dion
I know,
at this point.
yeah.
I
But,
mean,
but yes, earlier in the year, it was like, wow, this team's not
Earlier in the
bad.
year, Colorado had a little bit of a different ring to it
Yeah,
than they do
they
right
did.
now. When you got the trees chopping
I
him
always
down.
see people posting different pictures of Dion, like how he's reacting in the games.
Yeah.
Like how I forgot what game it was, but first half they were doing really well, and you see a happy Dion, and then all of a sudden they start losing, and then like his whole entire
It
expression.
might have been the Stanford game.
I think it was the
that game was
Stanford game.
crazy.
Yeah. Colorado, definitely not kind of what we were expecting. At all.
But I mean, from going from 1-10 to staying relatively
No,
Little
I think they're
improvement.
fine.
Yeah.
It's just like when they started the season, I think people were like, "Oh, send this team to the national championship."
Yeah.
And everybody, I mean, you had like stars out there. Like,
Yeah.
wasn't one of the Migos there?
Yeah, the
Like,
Migos were
like,
there.
You had stars
Lil
coming out to
Wayne.
a Colorado
Yeah.
game.
That was crazy.
Shannon Sharp, because
Yeah.
I mean, everybody they had 60 minutes at Colorado talking to the three players from the team prior that decided to stick around, and they're like, why did you want to stay?
Why-
Yeah.
Like, it's Deion Sanders.
No,
Deion
yeah.
Sanders.
It's Deion Sanders. You can't help it.
But let's just look at the stats. Sorry, Davis, but let's just kind of look at the stats
Go for
here.
it.
Colorado State currently 5-6, so a little bit more middle of the road than
Yeah,
UH,
yeah.
standing at 4-8. Rams quarterback Braden Fowler Nicolosi, he's ranked 13th in the nation with 3,143 yards and 20 touchdowns. However, our boy Braden Shager, he is ranked 11th with 3,222 yards, 25 touchdowns. And then the receivers. So we're going to break down tail of the tape here. Stephen McBride, he is 21st in the country, 942 yards, 8 touchdowns. Meanwhile, their top receiver, Torrey Horton, he is 18th in the country with 950 yards and 7 touchdowns. And he is a Reese's Senior Bowl invitee.
Looking at all the stats and everything, I mean, this is two very kind of closely looking teams
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah.
I mean, you look at the quarterbacks ranking-wise, they're right there next to each other. Their top receivers, I mean, McBride for us and Horton for them, they're right there too. They're just off by 3. These are both kind of pass-heavy teams looking at them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think we could be looking at a shootout on Saturday for sure. I think it really just comes down to whose DBs are going to step up and kind of stop the other offense down, stop the quarterback. That's the real question looking at this.
I will say, I think last week, I'm pretty sure don't fully remember, but last week I think Timmy won the coin toss and they chose to defer.
I think so too.
And I wish in that moment when I heard the announcer say that, I was like, oh, I wish he didn't do that. And I just feel like being able to take the ball, have your offense go right down the field.
Yeah.
That's why we won the Air Force game, is being able to have the ball first and
Being
not
aggressive.
play catch up.
Yeah. You need that momentum.
And so I really hope, if we win the coin toss, I hope that Hawaii takes it this time. And I just want to see them go down the field, get points early. Even if it's a Shipley field goal, get points, make them play catch up. Because, I mean, that Wyoming game, as soon as you gave them the ball, it was like they just took it, ran with it, and never looked back.
Yeah, like 2 plays in and they
Yeah,
scored.
it was done.
Yeah.
Absolutely. This is some Colorado State B-roll I'm playing too.
Oh, here we go.
Yep.
Wow.
So that's
they
their
look
guy.
like the Spartans out
Yeah,
there.
that's their guy
Oh.
right there. Is that number 14? No. So 14 is their top.
Oh,
is
you had to
Horton.
do it to him.
Yeah, there's Horton. So, I mean, like I was saying before, these are two really, records are right there next to each other. Players are right there next to each other. There he is,
There he
Horton. He's their guy on that team. He's their star. So it's going to be crazy, guys. I honestly don't know what's going to happen here. I thought that, UH was going to lose against Air Force, and we were completely wrong as well.
Yeah,
So
we'll see.
senior night, something a little special with
Yeah.
senior night
15
every year.
seniors getting honored.
That is wild.
Yeah,
That's a
15
whole other
seniors.
conversation for.
A couple of guys were in the same graduating
That's
class as
crazy.
me.
That is so crazy.
COVID really extended a lot of careers.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
One note, I do wish we had a green jersey like this one. Like,
Yeah,
if
this
we
is
had
nice.
green again.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Come on,
It's not
UH.
bad.
If you're listening,
Do it.
zoo it.
Let's do it.
Zoo it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's gonna be like you said. They're playing for a little bit something more.
Yeah.
They're playing for these seniors. And then it's kind of a, Timmy Chang coming from the Jay Norvell coaching tree. It'll be another reunion of sorts.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I remember our senior night, and especially when I was a junior, and you just want to play for those seniors.
Yeah.
There's a little something extra for it. You want to make sure that they're leaving on a good note. I mean, sure, we're not going to a bowl at all. This is kind of it, but you want to just end it on the right way for them. I mean, for everything that they put into the program.
Right.
Senior night is always something a little special. So we'll see, guys. I do want to make a quick note, though.
Make that
one
note.
other thing. So this was just something really big, and we have to give a shout out to him, Braden, that we always hype up.
Mr.
Shager, he just passed 6,000 career passing yards. That is 5th all-time at UH.
Look at that list.
Timmy Chang is ranked first, but I mean, that's just impressive. I mean, this has been an amazing season for Braden. Hopefully we can get him on the podcast later on.
I think he'd be down.
I think he would be down too. I mean, all of his accomplishments. I mean, he really was the shining light of this team.
Yeah.
No matter how much they were struggling, I mean, you just saw the fire in him. You saw, how hard he was working to get the ball to McBride, to Ashlock, to everyone. So big shout out to Braden. Hopefully he has a great game coming up on Saturday.
Yeah, I think also too, like later towards the tail end of the season, he started to get a little bit of confidence, a little swagger.
Yeah.
He was flexing to the camera.
The Air Force
the
game,
Air Force
that was
game,
good.
He was feeling himself.
You saw him flexing.
He was feeling himself. He was like, call me Jalen Hurts the way I be brotherly.
Call me Jalen Hurts.
Let's not call him Jalen Hurts.
Call me Jalen Hurts the way. Oh, did you see?
That hits a sore spot.
I know.
Let's not do
That's a
that.
rough one.
But,
That's a rough one.
Yeah, I'm really happy for this guy. I mean, there were a lot of the old coach Todd Graham left. There were a lot of talks of whether or not Shager stays at the program.
Right.
And not only did he stay, he is doing so well, and he's only going to get better. And I'm just excited to see this guy's future.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, sky's the limit for this kid.
One team that broke that limit was at the Maui Invitational this season. Kyle was covering this extensively every single day. Props to you at that Maui Invitational.
Yes.
That was at the Stan Sheriff Center
How
this
was it?
week.
Yeah.
Kyle,
It's been weird.
It was a little weird.
Yeah.
So obviously this year, the Maui Invitational on Oahu, the normal host site, the Lahaina Civic Center, obviously has been used during the recovery efforts and things like that. So in a way of, showing respect to the city, not bringing so many tourists and all these teams and attention to a place that's obviously rebuilding. They held it here on Oahu. They held it at the Stan Sheriff Center. I do want to give a quick shout out though to the UH athletics department because they are going to, by the end of this weekend, host 27 different events, including all of the Maui Invitational games. They had an 8:30 UH men's basketball team in the middle of the tournament. They have women's basketball. They have high school football, UH football, and then they have all these things, and they're able to pull it off. So again, shout out to UH athletics department, the marketing department, all you guys over there. You guys have been kicking butt all week. But speaking of kicking butt, Purdue, they kicked butt in this tournament.
Did anyone see that coming?
I mean, honestly, I really saw maybe 1 and 2 playing for that championship. So Kansas.
I
and
thought
Purdue.
Kansas was gonna.
Sure,
but
how did Marquette beat Kansas?
I think Kansas, a preseason number 1. You never really know if they're truly the number 1 team in the country. And you could kind of see some of the flaws that Kansas needs to get worked out. They're a great team, don't get me wrong. But they still had some things to work on. That's at the convention center, the little coaches.
Beautiful.
Look at this Kyle Chinen
opening
footage
presser.
right here.
It was a bit hot that morning. You see all the coaches there.
I have to say
Purdue,
that
Tennessee,
was really.
Cats, Syracuse.
Did they get those
Shaka
polos
Smart,
like once
there
they
you go,
stepped off
Marquette.
the plane? Like, do they?
I think they
they
got
just
them.
handed them out
Yeah.
to them.
Nice.
They're like decent polos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had
Especially
a-
with their team logos
Yeah.
on them.
Then they had like a little free throw contest with some keiki, which was fun.
Oh,
Yeah,
he's just beating
Bucket.
up on
Wow.
the kids.
bucket.
Is that even fair?
But yeah, so Purdue they made a run this tournament. So they opened the tourney. Let me pull this up. But yes, they ultimately won the Maui Invitational. They downed number 4 Marquette 78-75.
What a
It was
close
a
game.
crazy close game. Not to mention Zach Edey. He put up a game high 28 points, 15 rebounds. He's like, so they did I was watching the game, and they put up a graphic, like, cause he's like 7'4".
Yeah.
He is the same
Crazy.
height as Victor Wembanyama, but he doesn't. He's more
God.
proportional. Like Wemby is a little bit like.
Well,
Yeah.
Wemby's so skinny
Yes.
too. He like kind of has that Slenderman.
Yeah,
syndrome.
you got a little
he's-
slender man to him. But let me just give you a breakdown of Purdue's route to the championship. So they opened the tournament against Gonzaga. They won 73-63, 10-point
Wow.
difference. Then on Tuesday they took on Tennessee, who was number 7 in the country at the time. So Gonzaga was 11th, by the way. So number 11 Gonzaga and then number 7 Tennessee. They won 71-67. That game looked like a football game because there was so much shoving. It was like a hockey game.
Wow.
They were physical. And then obviously with Marquette in the final, 78-75, just a back and forth game. I think Marquette actually led a little bit in the second half, but yeah, Purdue. I will say at the end of the first half, one of the Purdue players shot a ball from like the
I saw that.
Yeah.
three-quarter court, and it sunk.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
crazy.
that's a
Beat the
Steph
halftime
Curry
buzzer.
type shot.
It was
right there.
insane.
You know
Now-
what?
Yeah.
What was the atmosphere like too? I mean, it's always cool seeing these kind of like big national
Yeah.
tournaments that Hawaii doesn't see all the time. What was the atmosphere like over there?
It was crazy. I mean, I personally haven't been to a Maui Invitational in Lahaina, so everyone has told me like it's a lot more intimate. It's only like a 2,000 seat
Yeah, it's
gym,
small.
so obviously the space is very limited there. But with the more space at the stand, from going from 2,000 to 10,000, you have some room to bring in fans. And I will say a lot of the mainland teams, their fans came. They traveled very well. Purdue
Wow.
traveled very well. Marquette traveled very well. UCLA traveled very well. Every single team, even Chaminade. You know, Chaminade on opening day.
They traveled so well down the
They
road.
traveled 5 minutes from their campus to here. But obviously a different venue. But the crowds are alive. It was so much fun. They had all the different, you know, with a actual arena with the video board and the cameras. You could do like the flex cam or the shaka cam or like
Oh, yeah.
different
Fun.
contests and stuff. So obviously a lot of things that they wouldn't be able to do in Lahaina with their venue, but it was really cool. You know, the crowd was getting into it. I will say there was the game. It was a Chaminade game. I believe it was their game against UCLA. Yeah, it was on Tuesday. Their game against UCLA. It was like midday. So like obviously if you're going to Chaminade, you might have class or something. So
Yeah.
there may be a few parents, couple kids that didn't go to class that were cheering on the Silver Swords. There was a group of Syracuse fans that were sitting with the Chaminade guys, and just going crazy for Chaminade. They were like, "Let's go,
That's kinda
Silver
cool.
Swords!" Like,
I love that.
That's cool.
and like just despite the score, like they're in a timeout, they're right in front of their bench. He goes, "This is your moment. This is your time."
And that's what I love about
Yeah.
tournaments. Like
Yeah,
basketball
yeah.
tournaments are so much fun because you have all these teams coming from different places coming to one arena. And yeah, you have teams that you would never cheer for
Right.
start cheering for your
Yeah.
team because they don't want the other team to win. And it's just such a cool environment. And knowing that there's so much at stake,
Yep.
it's like it's one game at a time. There's no like lollygallying around.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
now or never. So basketball tournaments are just so much fun.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and I
and
mean
it-
every matchup in this game just felt like a game in March.
Yeah.
Let's just be real.
I was just
Totally,
I was
Like a
just
game in
gonna say
March.
that
Yeah.
this is a nice March Madness preview
Oh,
in a way on how these
100%.
teams are going to play and how I should be setting up my bracket.
I mean,
because
well.
big March Madness person here.
Will I be taking Purdue? I guess we'll find out
We'll
in
see.
several months.
Do we take
Are we
them?
going Boilers up?
Are we going Chaminade?
Chaminade?
Are we going Go Swords? And then shout out to Kanoa Leahy. He was able to broadcast, call some of the games on ESPN, so that's always cool.
Oh my gosh, I was walking through the casino
Oh,
and
yeah.
I look over and I'm like, that's Kanoa Leahy. That is
Yeah.
the Stan Sheriff Center, everybody. And
Maui
it was just really cool that they
Invitational.
were on the big screen
Yeah.
and seeing like,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, obviously our local broadcasters
Yeah.
and seeing guys we know in the background. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like you are in the big screen in Las Vegas. Like that's huge. So
It was super cool.
so what a time.
I think that was so he was calling the games with Bill Walton.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
that was
yeah.
he was telling me in the media room that this is the first time he's called games with Bill Walton. So he's like, I'm a little
Insane.
nervous. I'm like,
Legendary.
you're
Yeah.
Kanoa Leahy. Why,
Yeah.
Literally
why
with
are
the
you nervous?
Two legends.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. Seriously. Fun fact, I'm actually related to Kanoa.
Family
He's
affair.
my cousin. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There's Pitner
that is
right
so.
there.
I
It
sometimes
runs in the family,
sometimes I
folks.
wonder if my parents got my middle name is Kanoa. So
Fun fact
sometimes fun fact about me.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I wonder if my parents got that from
From
Kanoa
Kanoa?
Leahy.
Serious?
Yeah.
Kanoa
They
Pitner.
thought it was good. Kanoa
KP.
in Hawaiian means free spirit. So
Oh.
just
I'm
learning
a
so much.
free spirit. All right, that's the extent of, we got to spread out the knowledge of me.
Hawaiian.
Wait until the next
local
episode
boy.
for more fun facts about me.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. That was awesome
I
to
like
see
it.
Kanoa up there.
Yeah.
It was also funny because Kanoa's not a short guy. He's like 6'1".
No,
Yeah,
he's not.
6'2",
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then he just dwarfed next to Bill Walton.
Walton,
Bill
yeah.
Walton is sitting
Yeah.
down and he's just like this, and I'm like,
huge,
Yeah.
"Geez, Louise."
That was crazy.
Yeah, that was so cool. I'm glad. It was a long week.
Oh,
Sorry, that was my Apple Watch.
Continuing on
Special
to
guest from my Apple Watch, but no, it was super cool, super fun experience. I got to hang out with John Suyat, our photographer, for a couple days.
Yes.
he's also a big basketball
Yeah, a big
fan.
basketball guy, and
Yeah.
we took full advantage of the media food.
Fun. That's
100%.
Gotta love the media food.
Yeah, but I will say, not to knock the food at the stand, because I really love the food at the stand. It's really good.
Uh-oh.
But all like the Chaminade, SID, some of the other like media people, they're like, "Have you been to the Lahaina one yet?" I'm like, "Oh no, I haven't been at HNN long enough." He goes, "Oh, wait till they go back to Lahaina.
Oh,
the
really?
food there,
Good.
it's different." And I'm like, I don't blame
Okay.
you. I love the food on Maui. It's so good.
Not bad.
They're
Not
like,
bad.
yeah, whoever they bring in Lahaina is different. I'm like, oh, okay.
Okay.
I
All
trust
right.
you, my dude.
I'm just
Alright.
eating my salt and vinegar chips. Like, okay.
Wow, that's a bold move at a tournament to be eating salt and vinegar chips.
It was
Yeah.
the only stuff they had available. You know, like the Aunt Vicky's or whatever.
Oh yeah.
They ran out of like the plain or the barbecue, so I was like, and I don't like the jalapeno
Full
one. So,
send. No,
Yeah.
I'm not eating that.
yeah.
You know what? That is different food. But you know what's also not different?
What's not
Tell
different?
us.
is the matchup that we have going on this week in high school football
Yeah.
specifically. It's the rematch between
Rematch.
Kahuku
Rematch.
Yeah, that's a big
and
deal.
Kyle Chinen's
Oh, God.
Mililani. Kyle,
Homer.
how excited are you as a proud alum of Mililani to see your team making it to this championship? How excited, Kyle Chinen?
I'm petrified, Davis.
Well, you shouldn't be.
I
Yeah.
mean, I think right now that Mililani is the hottest team in the state. They've just been gaining momentum week in and week out since that Kahuku win in the OI championship game. But, Kahuku has definitely had Mililani circled on their calendar, knowing that they were going to be on opposite ends of the bracket. So they wanted to get through Punahou to probably get to us. So, the saying goes, don't poke the bear. Mililani has poked the bear when they beat him, and the bear has been slowly on our tail for the last couple weeks. So it's going to be a real big clash of the Titans tonight in Manoa.
I feel like you have to feel a little confident having someone like Kenny McMillan
Yeah.
as that. I mean, what an incredible game against Kahuku.
I think you need to keep him protected, keep him clean, to let him do what he needs to do. Because when he's on, he's on, and he shows shades of some of the best to have ever worn the jersey, right?
Oh my goodness. But yes, I'm just excited that this is gonna be at TC. Like that's huge,
that's cool.
and to have like the big bright lights on. And that's why I'm like, this game kind of just like feels so important. Obviously it is, but playing at a university field is like, this is huge, and it kind of just shows like it's really anybody's game. Who can play under the bright lights. And I mean, I don't know who I'm going to take because had they not played earlier in their season, I would have said Kahuku. But now I'm like, Mililani is no joke, man.
They have a solid
also,
team.
Kahuku in the postseason is just also different.
They're different. I mean, when you look at the score breakdown, Mililani made quick work at Campbell. Sorry, Megan, our digital producer.
And sorry, Cienna.
And Cienna.
I'm right here, Kyle.
But yeah, we have a couple fans of the Campbell Sabres. They lost 44-7 to Mililani, and then Kahuku. They outlasted Punahou, which was last year's state championship game. So big time teams pretty much meeting. And this is also historic, guys. I did not realize this, being was in this playoff system before as a player. This is the first time two OIA teams will be meeting for a state championship.
Wow, really?
It's always been OIA ILH.
Or
OIA,
like St. Louis.
You know, what are the other leagues? It's never been OIA, but with this new format, things are possible like this.
Well, I'm glad it worked out this way. I don't think anyone else would want to watch another team versus like.
I always thought this whole entire dynamic is really interesting for me because as a Californian coming over here, I mean, I didn't know what the ILH was or the OIA. But, what a difference between the two. Yeah. And just how competitive everyone, is here. And, going into it, I mean, I always heard that Kahuku was good. And it's kind of obvious to see, that they are really good, at least this year. But I mean, it's really cool seeing all these high schools. And every time, I mean, in California, we always talk about, what college did you go to? What college team are you rooting for? Not as much high school. Yeah. Here, though, it's not about college at all. It's about what high school did you go to.
What high school did you go to?
Which is so interesting for me coming into this. So, I mean, I had a blast during all the games that I was at over here. Yeah. And, I mean, specifically that Kahuku Mililani, no one was expecting. I was surrounded by red at that game.
But...
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I think we were all like, who's the better team here.
I definitely did not pick Mililani to win that game in our previous episode. But yeah, no, it's been a crazy season for sure.
I have one quick question for you too. As someone who did play in state, what is it like reaching that level and getting to play? I mean, it's no Aloha Stadium. You played in Aloha Stadium.
This is true.
But playing at a university field, what is it going to be like for those players as a high school player?
It's going to be a little bit of a shock. So at least for us, when we did play at Aloha, we had the semifinals there first. So it wasn't just play at the higher seed, then boom, you're in Aloha Stadium. You kind of had that it's the semifinals. Yeah, you can get a feel for it one game before you make it to the championship game. But it's different. It's completely different. You really get a sense of if you were to go play at a Division I college or play at the next
what's
level.
That like? That's cool.
It's almost sometimes it feels a little overwhelming.
Yeah.
I will say, speaking of Kahuku, my senior year, we played Kahuku in the OIA Championship in Aloha Stadium, and it was deafening.
Wow.
It was, the kickoff hadn't even started. We're in a TV timeout, right? After you do the coin toss, then you have the guy with the red flag that stops the flow of the drive in the game. No, I'm just kidding. I love those guys. I hang out with those guys on the sideline all the time. But I'm just waiting there on the sideline, just kind of helmet on, because I'm not on any special teams. I don't do that stuff. And then all of a sudden, you just hear the
Yeah.
Oh.
That's so fun, though.
That's
And
so
it's-
cool.
It just
Yeah.
it's surround sound.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember that game. Leading up to that season, I really didn't have. I had no like bad snaps or like
All
false
of a
starts.
sudden.
All of
Yeah.
a sudden,
Yeah.
I had like 2 snaps that were on the ground.
Oh, no.
I had a false
Kyle.
start. I was like, this is not me. What am I doing?
False start. That's really hard for a center.
Oh, yeah.
That's like,
Davis is judging you.
hey, as a offensive lineman too.
I did the
Oh, you moved the ball.
I moved the ball.
Oh.
I was like, I can't hear. Well, okay. Also in that game, we lost our starter at that night, Dylan
Yeah.
Gabriel. A couple
Oh,
drives
yeah,
in,
yeah.
he broke his collarbone, and we had a new
It's
guy
not
in.
fun.
He was a little timid, and I was like, you gotta speak up.
Yeah.
It's too
Bright
loud
lights,
in here.
man.
But like, yeah, our running back Vivai Malapai whacked me in the back of the head because that was like the second time, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm
What
like,
are you doing?
I'm like, "I'm sorry, I'm new." But no, that environment is nuts, and it's gonna be a little different, like you said, at Ching as compared to Aloha. But it will be an experience, The largest stadium for a high school team in the state is, I think, Mililani, with like about 4,000 or 5,000 that could sit on both sides, and you bump that up to 15.
Yeah.
It's gonna be different,
Quite a
and
bit, yeah.
and we all know Kahuku travels
Ooh.
very well,
Yeah.
and I just hope Mililani travels well. But Mililani people, that's a little bit of a drive from Mililani into town, so it's a little inconvenient for them. They got to go to work.
Yeah.
Let's go to work.
These Mililani people, and I did not mean to wear Mililani brown today, but
I
here we
know.
are.
Supporting.
I guess so.
Hail, hail, hail.
Sure.
All right, guys. Well, Thanksgiving was this week. It was yesterday.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys feel, but I'm still a little full.
Oh, I'm very full.
From it. That was.
I'm ready to eat again.
Oh, Cienna.
I'm ready to go.
All right.
It's a bit early, but
It is a bit early.
Thanksgiving food is just my favorite.
All
thing in
time.
the world.
Yeah, I 100% agree. The amount of leftovers we're having Thanksgiving, meals
Part
probably
two.
for the rest of the
Yeah.
weekend
Yes.
with all the food that we have. I don't know about you guys, but my favorite course was the side dishes. I mean,
always a side dish
everyone
person.
loves the turkey, the ham, but it's with the side dishes that really
very
make
much
a
I am
good
side.
Thanksgiving.
so side dish. Side
What,
dish.
side dish?
I'm
Hey.
such a side dish. But I honestly would rather, like, you guys know the way I eat. I'm
Yeah.
very, I have the diet of, a 12-year-old. I would take the side dishes over main dishes any day.
That mac and cheese.
Like, mac and cheese,
Yep.
stuffing, mashed
Stuffing.
potatoes. I
Gotta
take
have
all
it.
of that over, the turkey and
The
ham.
turkey.
Mm-hmm.
I
Wow.
just don't. Sometimes I've spent Thanksgivings not here at home, like at college or whatever.
yeah.
And no offense to the cafeteria workers, but sometimes that stuff is made out of chalk.
Yeah,
you could
it's
write
not
on a
the
board
best.
with that turkey.
Kind of go for the cheaper option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I'm totally there with you. I love sides. I'm very pissed because I had a great big to-go box of
Oh,
leftovers.
no, you forgot
And
it.
I forgot it this morning.
Oh, no.
Because I woke up, I'm like, oh, time to go. We got to do this episode. I'm putting my shirt on, brushed my
Yeah,
teeth,
yeah.
got all ready. Walked out the door. I'm literally on Like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Not like.
no!
Oh, that's devastating.
That's
I'm
a
like,
rough
oh.
one
It's
right
okay.
there.
You can look forward to it tonight. After
dinner.
a long day
Yes.
of football.
After
You can
football.
get some food.
And then
Well,
knack.
Speaking of side dishes, so we're
Yes.
gonna get into our favorite side dishes after, but
Okay.
a very very quick little story that I thought was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tell us.
I'm gonna look down at this paper. So if you see me looking down, so guys,
Okay.
Google came out with a list of the most searched side dishes for each state. So
Okay.
the list compiled, some states said,
no.
Uh-oh.
sweet potatoes
Yeah.
and green bean casserole, typical side dishes. For Hawaii, though, and for this study, they were asking people, their favorite side dish, or they were looking up the searches. for Hawaii, along with a couple other states, had very unique searches that I'm sure at least I never thought about. So let me just name off the other two. So they also looked at Kansas and Wyoming had very unique searches for Thanksgiving. Kansas with a cucumber salad. And
I will not be attending.
Wyoming, the top search over there was a creamy polenta.
What's polenta?
Polenta, it's like a vegetable that they sometimes like puree. It's like
like it's like your starch.
Yeah, it's kind of like a
okay.
starch.
I also will not be attending that Thanksgiving.
I'm not
Thank you very
fancy.
much.
Yes,
I'm a simple man, simple player.
but what
Okay.
everyone
yeah.
in Hawaii, all of you guys watching, or at least some of you, searched with Google Hawaii's top searched side dish for Thanksgiving is bruschetta. Otherwise known, a lot of people say bruschetta, but I guess the correct word is bruschetta.
Bruschetta.
Yeah, bruschetta.
Never
So
thought. I mean, it's amazing.
This is it.
Don't think of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I thought it would be like rice or spam.
Yeah.
Like, you
Yeah.
know, something Hawaii.
Like,
You would think
or like
so.
you know the ham with the pineapple rings on it, like
Yes.
that kind of like Google would do us
that
like
looks
that.
amazing, but
yep,
It
this
just-
is
I don't think Thanksgiving. I think buca de beppo. Like I
Yeah.
just
yeah, an Italian dinner, but I guess a lot of Hawaii residents are interested in bruschetta.
is that like for like the poo-poo section like before the dinner?
I
Like,
think
that ain't
so.
enough
I would
for Thanksgiving.
I
dog.
think that's a little teaser right
Yeah.
before, I would say. Fun fact though, so this was for Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
The top searched item overall across the entire nation, guys, is a green bean casserole.
Ooh,
That was the
I
top search item.
don't like it.
Wow.
I'm just not a green bean casserole type of person. I don't know
Yeah,
how you
yeah.
guys feel about it. I just don't
I'm-
like green beans in general, though.
I like it when it has the onion strings on the top.
Oh yeah. I
Um,
was
But also like, you know, I don't like it when it's those like dark green like from the can green beans.
Mhm.
It has to be like the full like kind of fresh ones because it has a little snap. I kind of like that's the only
The
kind that I
canned
like.
ones get super soggy.
Smushy,
Yeah.
yeah.
you don't want smushy ones.
Yeah,
The-
I'm not a fan of that kind, but I don't mind it. If it's there, I'll eat it. You know.
yeah. Got to take a little bit of everything.
I was about
you
to
got to
say
try.
yeah, like my plate, like
Worst case scenario, you just throw some gravy on it.
Wait, are you
too.
guys food mixers?
it depends.
No.
Yeah.
No.
We gotta
Well-
you gotta put it all on
I
a
am-
plate. Some things get a little
So
mixed.
I get so anxious when I see people's food like looking like a smoothie out there. You know, like piles of just I'm very
Okay, all right.
food separator, but I'm like that in general. It's just my personality.
So like when you have like the Thanksgiving meal or the potluck, you love it when the trays with the
if
separate.
if you get
you
the
love
Hawaiian
that one.
plates,
Yes.
I'm
Oh,
there
yeah.
because I
Yes.
need different compartments.
Do you
There
get
you
like
go.
separate plates then? for
Yeah,
different...
kind of. Like I'll put my turkey with like a couple other meats, but as soon as I
Okay.
put like mashed potatoes with the gravy, I need a
uh-huh.
separate bowl for
Okay.
that. It's kind of a whole process.
I kind of do that with like the hot and cold stuff.
Oh, I
So like
see.
if I have like
Okay,
a salad,
alright.
Yeah.
I like to put that like over there because then I
Well,
don't
yeah.
want it to mix with the
Right.
hot stuff. But
Yeah.
I mix my mashed potatoes with my corn, with the gravy.
That's it.
The stuffing can get in there too.
No.
Yeah. Well, speaking of that, so going off of that, favorite side dish that you guys had?
Mine's stuffing.
Stuffing.
Yes.
Really?
I
do you
think it's
do you
so
put
good.
gravy on it or
No,
do you
I
just
think
No.
a good stuffing can stand alone,
Wow.
Preach.
Well said.
right?
Preach,
Like
preach.
you
Okay.
don't need anything on it.
Yes.
But yeah, stuffing is my favorite. I do
Okay.
enjoy mashed potatoes or mac and cheese and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that, but those are also dishes I could get any time
of the year, right.
Stuffing
True.
is like, this is my night. This is
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. I will say one of my top ones is stuffing, but I'll put that as my honorable mention since Cienna mentioned it. I
Okay,
will say though,
alright.
my dad, shout out to my dad, he's in Vegas right now, but he makes stuffing, he puts Portuguese sausages, like
Oh,
little
yes,
bits in there,
yes,
and like grilled
yes.
onion, like he mixes it
Oh,
in
that
with the
is
stuffing.
good. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it's so good. But I will say, this one might, I don't know how you guys feel about it,
Oh,
but
no.
I really love sweet potatoes or yams.
Yes.
Whatever you get,
Okay,
like
all
candied
right.
yams.
Yeah.
That is probably my favorite, which I never got growing up because obviously in Hawaii it's very, either mashed potatoes, rice, all like the basics, right? Stuffing, turkey, blah blah blah. When I went to the mainland and my boys are like, you got to try these yams, and I'm like, oh, this is a new world.
So
Okay.
good.
It's so
Alright.
I
good.
agree with that.
I
Not
love
the biggest yam guy, I gotta
Ooh.
say.
Hot take.
Not hot take. I don't know. I just kind of skip over it. I just think there's better options on that table. If I'm limited on the amount of space on a plate,
True.
I
Okay.
can't go for the yams. There's
So
so
what's
many
your
other.
favorite?
Yeah, what's your favorite?
Well,
dish?
what I had yesterday was I'm a big mashed potato guy.
Okay.
Mashed potatoes I like to mix sometimes. So mashed potatoes goes well with everything.
Yeah,
I
this
mean,
is true.
turkey. I mean, we had a really good. What was it? A kind of like a corn casserole type thing.
Oh,
Ooh,
corn
those
casserole.
are
Yeah, that's
So good, so good.
So
Props
good.
to Mel's family for making that. That was so good. But mashed potatoes are my favorite. Yesterday we had like a truffle garlic mashed potato kind of.
Wow, y'all
Yeah.
are fancy.
So-
Truffle?
Yeah, truffle. It was, it took mashed potatoes to like a whole nother level.
Wow, Davis.
Wow.
I'm
Yeah.
so hungry right now.
I had
That was so
stovetop mashed
good.
potatoes.
So
You
if
already-
it ain't out of the box,
Yeah,
then I'll
like-
eat it.
Yeah. You already know I took leftovers of that. So
Oh, yeah.
I am looking forward to that for
Yeah.
dinner later.
Oh,
Wow.
you lucky bugger.
I'm very jealous.
Okay.
It's a very good Thanksgiving.
Okay, now on top of that question, I want to ask
Okay.
you guys a little surprise one. What is
Ooh.
your guys' most overrated Thanksgiving side dish? What is overrated in your opinion?
Overrated.
Like that's like
Ooh.
whatever type of side dish.
But you still have it?
Like it's
Yeah,
it's a
right.
mainstay, but it's just like, why are you here? You're not an A
I
player.
mean, that's
You're
how I
not
feel
needed.
about the green bean casserole. But
Okay.
that's just
I was just
my
thinking that,
personal
yeah.
preference of not liking green beans.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the one that I'm always skipping over. And if we didn't have it at a Thanksgiving, I'm like, I didn't know any difference.
Right.
But I mean, I just don't like the dish. It's
Yeah.
not that I wouldn't eat it anyway.
Right.
I was thinking the exact same thing. I mean, according to this, people love green bean casserole.
I guess so.
It's on the table every single year,
Yeah.
like you were saying, and that's like the same for me. I
Yeah.
mean, I won't. It's not a go-to for me. There's so many other options. Another scoop of mashed potatoes in
Yeah,
that little
exactly.
empty spot. That's in my opinion too. So,
You know,
Kyle Chinen?
I will say overrated is the ham. I'm not a ham guy.
Ham,
Ooh, I love
interesting.
ham.
I'm not.
I like
I've
ham
never
too.
been a ham guy for some reason. That and cranberry sauce.
I love cranberry
I'm not a
sauce.
cranberry sauce
I'm with
guy.
you on the cranberry.
Oh my gosh, it just takes turkey and mashed potatoes and everything to a whole new level.
I
don't know why.
appreciate it.
And I'm not into like food mixing or
Uh-huh.
like putting sweet stuff on like
The
stuff
savory,
that should
yeah.
Yeah.
But it is just so I don't know what it does to the turkey.
Okay.
Just saying, y'all should try it.
All right.
I can get down. Like I don't disagree with anyone's food opinions ever. But like it just never
Yeah,
mixed with me. Like if I'm getting something sweet, I'm getting the pumpkin pie with the whipped cream.
That's what I'm
afterwards.
saying.
So
That's
good.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
I also do like pecan pie.
I
Pecan
love
Pecan
pecan
pie is
pie.
the stuff.
is the one.
All right. Well, now we're talking about desserts. Everyone's
Yeah.
favorite dessert. What are we thinking?
I mean, I have to have pumpkin pie because it's classic,
Yes.
but
Yeah.
Yes.
obviously pecan, or sweet potato
Sweet
pie. Like I
potato pie,
just
yes.
you
Sweet
gotta
potato's
have
good.
the pie. But I mean, if we're talking classic, pumpkin pie always.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
I will say, whenever like maybe it's a Hawaii thing, but like I do like a good variation, like the chocolate halpia pie.
Oh,
That's so good.
that's
But
really
I will
good.
say I do love a good sweet potato pie. Like it's just so
Yep.
like just you don't barely need to put any pressure to cut through it, and you
Oh,
just
so good.
melts in your mouth.
Yep.
Davis.
100% agree. Pie is a must. I'm a big pumpkin pie. Yesterday, though, took pumpkin pie to a whole other level. This wasn't even me. My cousin, at Thanksgiving dinner number 1. I had 2 Thanksgiving dinners, everyone.
Sorry.
Thanksgiving dinner number 1, she gave me this pie to bring to Thanksgiving dinner number 2.
Oh.
It
a journey.
It was crazy.
It is. Follow along,
It was
guys.
so follow along.
along.
So pumpkin pie is my favorite.
Yeah.
This one was called a pumpkin pie latte, though. So
What?
stay with me. It's
Stay
a
with me,
pumpkin
folks.
pie, but there's cream on it that's
Okay.
cinnamon that adds like a latte taste.
Like Cool Whip kind or like
like
frosting?
a thick, kind of like a thick. It's in between a frosting and a whip. Yeah, right in between the two. Exactly, Kyle.
Please.
Clip it.
Clip it.
Check out our HNN Overtime Instagram.
Yeah. We will be posting all these.
That's like pumpkin pie to a whole other level. It's a big pumpkin pie guy.
Oh, interesting.
That sounds amazing.
That does sound really
good.
good.
Because sometimes pumpkin pie is like so plain.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in the best way possible. Like it's good. But like I feel like sometimes taking Cool Whip
Right.
or just something to put it
Yep.
over the edge
Yeah.
could be so good.
Pumpkin pie is
100% agree.
it's reliable.
Sounds like David's just had the best two
Yeah, I
Thanksgivings
know.
I am
ever.
still so full. I'm skipping lunch today and, heading straight for dinner later. We're having leftovers.
Or you could
best.
get leftovers at lunch and still have enough for dinner.
Still have enough.
Just go
It's a
double
lot. Do
the
for
same
double.
thing.
Yeah.
This is
I
a
mean,
lot.
Thanksgiving
We still
food
have enough for
hits.
tomorrow, too. Yeah.
I
See?
might just come over to their house.
Yeah.
Oh.
Davis, we're coming.
You guys
David's
should.
like, please don't.
Yeah.
Please
We
don't.
actually we are going to try and get everyone over there at some point. We just got chairs.
Yo, the
Yes!
Big
chairs
thing.
are here.
Big
Win.
news. We got chairs. All right. I
Yay.
guess
I
since
will
we're
s-
saying fun facts. Fun fact, guys, again, about me. We just got a house this year along with our
Super
wedding.
exciting.
Lots of
Adulting.
exciting things that, I feel like an adult now. But yeah, finding chairs was so difficult for the longest time.
Where'd you guys get your chairs
So we got
from?
our chairs from Inspiration.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Which is very good. We went to several other places, very expensive.
Oh,
some
yeah.
places
expensive.
were like $250 a
Yikes.
chair,
That's ridiculous.
which is a little
I'll
much.
stand.
Like-
I
yeah.
will stand.
I will stand. Thank God for Mel's parents. They gave us 2 lawn chairs on loan. Because we needed chairs. We were looking for
cute.
chairs.
That's
So Mel and I, we had lawn chairs at our table. I was a big fan of the lawn chairs because you got a little cup
Yeah, it
holder.
comes
You
with
got a
the
little
cup
cup
holder,
holder.
yeah.
Those are.
I was all for it.
That
I'm
is
like,
like
hey,
bachelor life.
let's just get 2 more, and we got a table.
That's like on
Uh,
Twitter when you see
yeah.
those
Oh,
girls
yeah.
complaining about
Yeah.
guys' houses. Like they just literally need a mini fridge,
Yes.
a chair, and a TV,
TV.
and that's how they live.
Yes.
Or the NFL red zone memes.
Yep,
It's like
yeah.
the TV on the floor
Yeah.
with
The
the
lawn
with the
chair
lawn chair.
and
It's
then,
like I'm
like,
ready
a
for
beer.
Sunday,
Yeah.
boys.
Yeah. So funny.
So we finally got chairs. Hopefully, once we get everything's kind of settled, we will have everyone over. Get the
Yay.
HNN Overtime crew over there. Very, very
Podcast
exciting.
from the living room.
Podcast from the
Honestly,
living room.
I'm here for that.
Ooh.
H&N on the road.
HNN
on the road at Davis's house.
HNN at home.
At home.
We wear
We
pajamas.
each take turn at each
Yeah.
other's house. Yeah, we
The
each take
HNN
turns.
sleepover.
Wow.
Oh
Yep.
my god! But
Yep.
no, yeah, I remember
It's exciting.
going to your bachelor party.
right.
We met up at the place, and you're like,
You were
"Hey."
in one of those lawn chairs.
Oh
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
super comfy.
It was a nice lawn chair.
It was a
right?
really nice.
Yeah.
It was those. It wasn't like the ones that fold up. It was the sturdy ones
Yeah. It
that
was
The
came
real
with the
sturdy-
table.
Yeah.
Oh,
That
nice.
you have to like lock into
Yeah.
place.
It was the next level
so
one.
like, you
Yeah.
could lean back. You could kick your feet up on the sofa and lean back. We were playing
Oh, yeah.
video games. I was like, this is nice because it's sturdy. Had
It was good.
some strength to it.
It was
wasn't
good.
those flimsy ones. So shout out to Mil's parents for those.
Absolutely.
Those are
Big shout out
winners.
right there.
But no, thank you guys so much for watching. I think that's
I
about.
think that's a good
Yeah.
wrap.
That's a good wrap.
Make sure you guys check out our HNN Overtime Instagram as well.
Yes.
Newly created.
Go follow.
created.
Kyle Chinen has been
Yes,
an amazing
he
job
is our
posting
content creator.
all the top clips, all the funny moments. You guys should check it out.
Yes, it's gonna be so much fun. Just like the fun that we had here today, guys.
Yes.
Want to wish you guys another happy
Yep.
Thanksgiving. Thank you so much for listening or watching this edition of HNN Overtime. To listen to any of our previous episodes, you could head to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your HNN podcast, and be sure to check out the video version of this on our YouTube channel. For Cienna, Pilotin, Davis, Pitner, I'm Kyle Chinen. Thanks so much for watching. Aloha!
This podcast is sponsored by Happy Warrior Kava. Be a happy warrior. Drink, relax, and enjoy the strong and smooth taste of the best-selling kava in the islands. Happy Warrior Kava.